Okay, so what we've got so far, we've got line L graphed. We plotted the 2 points. We drew our line. We plotted the point. We have to find the distance from point P to the red line. We've already said numerous times that has to be the perpendicular distance. So it's that distance right there that I'm squiggling in. That's the final answer that we're looking for. So that means in the final step of this problem, we're going to use the distance formula. Again, you have to have this memorized for the test. And if you want to put the x's first and the y second, I don't care. That's just sort of depends on how you learned it. But remember, your minus signs go inside the parentheses, plus in the middle, the eyebrows and the nose I told you about. Okay, so I've got to find those 2 points so that I can use the distance formula. One of my points is already point P. I've got to find this point right here. Okay, let me call it P sub 1. That's what we're looking for. And that's going to go right up here. That's the whole name of the game for us. To find that point, I've got to solve the system of equations so that the system of equations of the line, the red line and the blue line. Because when I solve a system of equations, I'm finding out where things intersect. In this case, where 2 lines intersect. So to find that point, I have to use a system. And my system is going to be the equation of the red line and the equation of the blue line. So we've got some lines to find. All right, now with my red line, let's find the red line first. I need to know the slope and I need to know the y-intercept so that I can use y equals mx plus b. So if I want to, I could count off that slope, rise and run if I want to. Okay, if you forget the slope formula, you can rise from that lower point and run to that upper point if you want to. Or you can just go ahead and use your formula because you're going to have to know the formula on the test anyway for other things to decide if things are parallel or perpendicular. So the difference of the y's over the difference of the x's. So I've just got to pick which one I want my y sub 2 to be. It doesn't matter. I'm going to pick negative 11. Negative 11 minus negative 1 over negative 3 minus 11. For my slope, that's going to give me negative 10 over negative 14, which is really a positive 5/7. Okay, so there's my slope. And I need to find my y-intercept, so let's use slope-intercept method. If you want to use point slope form, you can. I'm going to choose one of my points as my sample. I'll just use that one. Negative 1 equals 5/7 x plus b. Trying to find that y-intercept. If I subtract 55/7 from each side, and I'm just writing that out so that those of you who are fraction phobic can see what's going on. Negative 7/5 and negative 55/5 is going to be what? Negative 62? Not fifths, sevenths. Negative 62/7. Y'all see anything wrong with my arithmetic there? So my red line is y equals 5/7 x minus 62/7. It's really ugly, isn't it? Now let's look at the blue line. The blue line is going to have the negative reciprocal slope of the red line. So for my blue line, I'm going to have my slope is negative 7/5. And I know that negative 1, 1 is a point on the line. So y equals mx plus b. So b is, when I carry, it's going to be a negative 2/5 because I've got 5/5 here, subtract 7/5, negative 2/5. So my blue line is y equals negative 7/5 x minus 2/5. So now I have the two lines that I can use to solve my system, and they are ugly. Don't throw in the towel just because a problem gets ugly. You can do it. All right, so let me raise this up here a little bit. I'll bring it back down later, but I want to solve my system, okay? So my system is y equals 5/7 x minus 62/7, and y equals negative 7/5 x minus 2/5. Would you like to get rid of the fractions before we solve the system? Okay, so we'll multiply this through by what, 7? And we'll multiply this through by 5. That looks better. It's not beautiful, but it does look better. So, shall we use elimination? Want to make the, that's a negative right there. Want to make the x's fall out? Let's multiply the top through by 7. 14, carry 1, 4, 34. And then let's multiply the bottom one through by 5. 25y is negative 35x minus 10. So see, our 35x's, our x's are opposites. And here we're going to get, now if I divide negative 444 by 74, guess what I get? A beautiful even number, 6. Now, if things stand to reason, when they got ugly, you may have thrown in the towel thinking you were doing something wrong. But look how pretty and even it did come out. So x is 6. If x is 6, how do I find y? Y is 6. How do I find x? Plug it in. And it doesn't matter. I wouldn't plug it in over here. You can. But if you're fraction phobic, you're going to want to use one of those two. So let's plug that y in. Yes, baby doll. Let's plug that in. You saved us a lot of grief there. So negative 28 is 7x, so x is negative 4. So my point of intersection up here, P sub 1, is negative 4, negative 6. I forgot that I had moved my graph, and that was making me a little uncomfortable up there because it didn't look reasonable. So negative 4, negative 6. Now let's see if I can bring this back down so that it's not so horrible. It still didn't work, did it? We've got a mistake.
It's in the bottom of the slope form.
In the slope form, you did negative 3 minus 11. Shouldn't it be negative 3 minus negative 11?
Not in the bottom, because see, this is a positive 11.
No, it's negative 3, negative 11. The point is. So shouldn't it be negative 3 minus negative 11?
Yes, here it is. Who said that?
JP.
No, who said this?
Both of us.
That Caroline that said that? It is a positive 4. Thank you. Because I dropped my negative in front of my 7. Good deal. Okay, so let's bring that on down again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, that's very reasonable. So I've got up here as my point 4, -6. Okay? So since we got distracted there with my arithmetic mistake, let me sum up again. We graphed the red line, we got down the blue point. We found the equation of the red line, and by using its negative reciprocal slope, we were able to use our point and the new slope to get our perpendicular. So we got the equation of the blue line. Solving that system, we were able to find point sub 1, that one. X marks the spot right there. Once we found that, now we have up here our points that we need to use to find the distance between. So now we're going to plug in the distance formula. Distance is 4 minus -1 squared plus, since I started with 4, I need to start with -6. So this is going to give me 25 plus -7 squared is 49. That's going to be the square root of 74, which is approximately, what did I tell y'all, 8.6 or 8.3? I put my calculator away. Here, let me get it out. Now, I'm not going to, it is 8.6. I'm not going to specify radical or decimal, so I'll take either one of those tomorrow. Later in the year, I'm going to specify. But remember that we don't know, if this was an ACT problem or an SAT problem, we don't know what form the answers are going to be given in. So you need to be comfortable with any of the answers. Okay? Any questions about that problem? Was it clear enough for me to go ahead and use this one recording, or should I do another one, record the next one? Is this clear enough? Okay. All right.